Nothing like a cup of Java, a little bit of raisin bread, get the day going. Good stuff. Okay, this is the project. Actually, this is my mom's exercise bike that they just got it. It's a brand new bike, nice little bike. An elliptical, I think it's called an elliptical, right? It's a Go Plus elliptical. So, you know, my mom's a little bit older and she's trying to get some exercise in, but here's the problem. This seat, which it can go all the way down to the tube. Right now I just have it sitting on the top, but it can't adjust forward. So you can adjust up and down in the tube, but she's having a hard time reaching. She's having a hard time reaching the handles here. You know, these handles go back and forth as you know, as you're doing your thing. They go back and forth. Okay, like that, and that's great and all. She likes it. The problem is she can't reach the handles, and it hurts her back because she's having to reach too far from the seat all the way to the handles. So what we're going to do is we're going to build something right here for her, so that this is actually going to come out of there. I'm going to build something right here so they can adjust. She can slide it this way, frontwards and backwards. We're going to use Stronghand. Got this little tool, cool little tool here. Okay, it's got magnets on one side and a magnet on the other side, and you can adjust this thing at different angles. So I'm gonna have to do some welding on the exercise bike, and when I get around to welding on this, I think it's just gonna be just a little bit of welding, probably not even on the bike, but on a little plate I'm gonna have to build right here to put a steel plate across this section, drill some holes in it, and see if we can get that seat so that she can, her or husband can pull the pins out and then move the seat backwards and forwards. So, all right, cool. Let me get started, and I'll run some video along the way so you can see what's going on. Okay, this is what I got so far. Just mocking up some angle iron. Obviously, these will be cut to length at the end. Okay. Myself a little clamp there on the end, and what I'm thinking is take the chair stem, put it right between these two. Okay. I have to build out a little. There's not enough height to the angle iron for 2 bolts, because you need at least 2 bolts so the chair isn't, you know, tipping backwards and forwards, right? 1 bolt's not going to work. Now, I don't want to weld it because I might want to remove it. So I'm gonna probably build out a little box right here, a little bit of plate or some flat bar. We'll see what I'm going to do in here, so I get a little more height here, so I can have 2 holes. I can drill 2 holes in the bottom of this to match up with the holes in the plate. And I'll do that. That plate's going to be pretty long, right? The plate's going to run the full length from here to there. So they can just unbolt it, move it like 1 inch at a time, or, you know, maybe whatever, a few inches at a time, something like that. So on this side, what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is gonna have to cut a little relief here of the angle iron. Just cut a little bit right here, just to clear this washer and nut. No big deal. And you'll notice there's a gap here. That's no good. Okay, so the next thing is I just took some black magic marker on where I'm gonna cut the reliefs out. Okay. So this is gonna cut the end off right here. Just cut it right off. I gotta cut a relief right there. You can probably see that little black magic marker relief right here, so I can clear this washer. And then I cut along this line and up to there. So from this point forward, you're only gonna have this flat piece right here left with a little relief right here. And then at this line right here, which I don't have it drawn, but it's gonna be a line here, I'm gonna bend that flat piece down so there's no gap here. So that's the same thing on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up, and then I'll show you how Just gonna hit this with a grinder and cut it up, and we'll look at this afterwards. You can see that I cut off the relief. I cut a little too much relief, that's okay. And I cut this relief and I bent it too. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I did all that. Obviously the cuts were done just with a grinder. I did it with this grinder right here. Okay, with a little cutoff wheel and a little bit of a grinding wheel at the end when you're just doing. So that took care of all the cuts and the grinding. All right, now for the bend, I marked it up and put a little line there. Okay, we got to bend it that way. So I'm just going to take this hammer and bend it, coming in there from this angle, right? Bam, bam, bam. We need to bend so it sits up there like that, right? And on this end, it's going to be up in here like that. Okay, runs the full length of the bike, exercise bike. We're going to drill a hole right there at the end, and drill a hole in that rectangular piece next to the other bolt that's already there. Okay, and yeah, that's good. So just clamped together and mocked up. This looks really good. I got the bends at the top pretty good, 20-30 degrees, turned out perfect. In typical cheap Chinese made fashion, this rectangular tubing, when I went to tighten down these two angle irons, I drilled the hole, that one on that side, and that one on that side. I went to tighten it down. I'll put some threaded rod through there and just tighten it down. It started crushing the tube. This thin, cheap damn tube. Oh my gosh, so pathetic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick an insert in there, a piece of pipe. So I'm going to cut a piece of pipe to length, and then I'll just hook a piece of wire around it, so I'll lower it down into the hole. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, when I tried to clamp these two angle irons on there, clamped them down, this cheapy Chinese really thin tubing started collapsing like that. So what I did is I cut myself some round tube. It's got some decent diameter thickness to the wall, so we're going to put it down in there. Now, as you can imagine, if I put this down in there, if I let it go, it's going to drop all the way to the bottom. What we're going to do is we're just going to wrap around this piece of tubing, then we can drop it down in there without it dropping all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, put it in a vise, wrap it around, and we'll come back and see how it works out. So I got the piece of wire wrapped around the tube. Let's see me pull it back out of there. I was just test fitting it just now. You don't want to lose it. For right now, the wire is loose, wrapped around the tube. I might just use a TIG welder and tack this piece of wire to this tube, maybe, we'll see. So now we got a piece of tube in there. It'll support the walls on the square tubing. When I clamp down on it, it won't damage this square tubing. And I think with this piece of wire, they're not going to use this seat post anymore. The seat's going to be more up here, so no problem with the wire. I'm just going to bend it and let it hang out the back a little bit here, and that's it. Okay guys, so check this out. This is the Stronghand that I was talking about. It's you know, I'm still kind of new to welding. My welding skills are just kind of you know, most guys would just hold this piece of wire and have their gloves on and just hit it with the TIG welding to be done. For me, you know, I want that piece to be stable. So this thing's magnetic. Check this out. Okay, we're trying to put this wire on there. I'm just showing this as an example. Look at this thing. It's got pivots on it. There's little magnets on the end of it. Pivots. There's a magnet on that one. There's two magnets right here. There's two more magnets over there. It's got little sliders. Okay, you can adjust it, move it around. This thing is so convenient. So just about any configuration you can think of, I can take this Stronghand, okay, and just put it on top of the vise, because sometimes just clamping in the vise isn't good enough. Okay, and I can put my piece of tubing and it'll just hold it right there. The magnet will hold it. Now I'm just welding a piece of wire in here, but you can weld two pieces together. The Stronghand will, you know, you can have a piece sticking up like this and this magnet over here holding it. It'll hold it at 90 degrees. So very, very convenient. Okay, unfortunately, my battery on my Lincoln Viking helmet, my welding helmet, is bad because I haven't used it in a while, so I got to go get a battery for it. So I can't do the welding right now. So I'm going to take these steel plates and we're going to start doing some measurements. We got to figure out this geometrical shape right in here. Okay, on both sides. So that's what we're going to do next. Get some magic marker, black magic marker, draw up the angle on those steel plates, match them up for those geometrical shapes, and then begin to think about how we're going to drill some holes that we're going to be needed to put the chair on there and get into some welding. Okay everybody, that's part one. Part two is going to be coming up real soon once I get the battery in for the welding helmet. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and click that notification bell so you can get notified of all the videos as they come out. And if you don't mind, I really would appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. We'll talk to y'all again real soon next time.